One of the things we talked about last week was the relevance of metadata in the battle for ROI and how this affects addressability in personalization. And this is a big topic right now as streamers, large and small, are trying to find revenue, and how are they going to do that? Paul, I'm going to throw that question to you first, and then we're going to go around and scrum it out here.
Sounds good. Well, thanks. Happy to talk on this. I'm actually, as a disclaimer, I'm opinionated on this, very opinionated. I think metadata is absolutely key, in my opinion, to multiple elements that either directly or indirectly tie to ROI. And so when we think about sustaining engagement, which is fundamental to retention and monetization, it's directly connected to personalization and search and recommendation. If we think about how efficiently you can target and address specific audiences, with your advertising, that specificity, it's aided tremendously by the metadata that helps advertisers understand the nuances of that audience that they're trying to hit. And I think that there's a lot of value ahead to be reaped by those parties that can effectively enhance and enrich metadata, typically using AI to help do so. And particularly when it comes to equalizing the level of metadata quality and richness in diverse libraries, right? That may be consistent, or that may consist of new and legacy content, perhaps from different sources, such as what you might have in a fast channel. So on the other side of ROI, if you look at efficiency or cost reduction, I think metadata also helps you understand the specific nuances of portions of your content portfolio that are not performing well with their audience, and give you some insight into why, right, depending on the richness and quality of that metadata. And thus it can help you with optimizing your existing content portfolio and inform your future content acquisition strategy.
So I think basically metadata is you're saying is really the linchpin. It's the DNA of everything.
I wouldn't say it's the linchpin, but I would say it's vital. It's good good metadata, it's table stakes, right? Great rich metadata is potentially a force multiplier for overall service ROI if you leverage it correctly.
Right. And let's talk about fast channel. Bethany, I think it was last year, you were really responsible for creating the fast channel strategy for Vevo. Talk a little bit about that and how you're using data to amplify and pump up that ROI.
Yeah, absolutely. So for anyone who doesn't know, Vevo is the world's leading music video network. We have over 800,000 music videos in our catalog across a variety of decades, across genres. So organizing our data is really important to keep track of all of that content. Agree with everything Paul was saying about how you monetize it, but we also really need to have clean metadata in order to organize, get through everything. We have a programming team that uses their expertise to program each of our individual fast channels, but they need to leverage AI and data to really comb through all of that and surface everything to them, because there's just so much content to go through. So for us, it's really tantamount to the success of our channels.
Yeah, and I can see that. And of course, you've expanded so massively. Most people really knew you when you started out. That is, Vevo started out on YouTube. And it's just that there's really so much to handle there, particularly on the device side as well. And Daniel, I think that's something that you touched to some extent. And of course, let's talk about channels with Warner Brothers Discovery. Talk about how you're sifting through the metadata sands to enhance all things revenue.
Yeah, I think listening to Paul a minute ago, one thing that came to mind is pause ads, which is a feature a lot of streaming services have. And metadata becomes a really big part of that, because say you're watching something like Breaking Bad and you pause on one of those moments in Breaking Bad where maybe you don't want somebody walking into the room, right? You also don't want an advertiser's ad to pop up over that. So to have, I know streaming services are working towards this, metadata that runs through the episode to show you when areas are safe and when they are not. It allows you to take this ad format and distribute it across more of your programming hours than you otherwise would have. So that's ROI, that's money in your pocket right there. And it's a better viewing experience than dropping this ad where it shouldn't be.
Yeah, and Alan, I mean, you've written a lot about this in the past. I mean, what recently sort of stands out to you in terms of the state of metadata in where streamers are battling for engagement and retention?
Well, just in general, I mean, metadata on TV sucks in ways that really haven't been invented yet for the most part. I mean, somebody like Bethany is really lucky with Vevo because they got to do it themselves because they have their videos. But for most of the content that existed on TV, just a little history lesson, when it was digitized, nobody thought about it. And so it'd be like Seinfeld comedy show, Seinfeld funny show. And like sometimes it'd be in all caps, sometimes it'd be in lowercase. The dog is very upset about that. And it's okay. It's okay. They're figuring it out. But they point being, it's really hard to kind of match it up. And so there's been a lot of work being done. There's companies like Iris TV, which has sort of created a content tag that sort of tries to standardize it so that you know what's on. But it's a huge problem with advertising, what Dan was talking about, because a lot of times they don't really know what's going on. The good news is, everybody's aware of it and is moving to fix it, but it's way behind what's available on digital.